I always forget the. I always forget to put the stream thing over before I start setting up the stream. So I'll be honest, I don't know how long I'm going to stream. But I'm going to try to get as much of this work done as I can while I'm sitting here for tonight. And hopefully do a little bit more tomorrow. Oh god, did my internet die down here? Just want to share the video. Hey, Spino. Oh, now it's loading. There we go. Share, Discord. Send it there. I don't know if I can do Facebook. Hey, Nemo. Hey, Crazy, Cretaceous Bricks, Jeff. Super hyped for the new Godzilla movie. Alright, I'm going to swap it over. Like I mentioned, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I want to at least try to get this a little bit painted today. But what I got is another one of these Zillas that I already got it set up for articulation. I'm just kind of working on fixing some of the joint issues and then starting to try to paint it. Hey, Lady Draco. Because there's a couple of sections like this is still a little looser than I like it to be. So I'm going to have to add a little bit of glue to the joint. This also really loose. Got some glue to the joint. And there's a few things on here. Like I wanted to keep this posable, but I think it doesn't matter if this arm can rotate. So I think it's just going to glue that in. Make my life a lot easier while trying to paint this thing because then it's not falling apart. So now that I've agreed to doing that, I need my accelerator. Need some goose. Need a thing to pierce the glue with because again, I'm too important to not have a cap on my glue. Day's going alright. Super tired, but I want to try to get at least a little bit. Hey, there's my paperclip. A little bit of this accomplished before I went to bed. Also, to get a video up on the channel too, so killing two birds with one stone. Oh, there we go. Alright. That is in. We've made an air hole. Just going to apply a little bit of glue. Maybe. I like that I poked this and then it's just like, yeah, you didn't do crap. Like something at the top is still giving me a fuss about getting glue out of this thing. There we go. Nothing crazy, just a couple dollops. Make sure I get the right hand on the right one. Like that. That. Wipe out this excess glue that just ended up on this arm. Okay, problem is solved. Because one thing I had to do is I had to resculpt this jowl area. Because, I don't know, for me it was just a little bit too much. Too much exposed joint. Like, I think a little bit's acceptable, but there was quite a bit there. Oh, jeez. Too much glue. Oh, where's a brush? This kind of helps a little bit here and there. Put that in there, leave that alone for a second. I also need a little bit of some. That'll work. Got some paper with some tape here. Making this thing work. If somebody paid me, yeah, I'd do a custom articulated shin. Granted, I say that, boy, it would probably be cheaper for you to just buy the monster arts. Because after joint costs and then me putting one together, it would almost cost you the same. Oh, rearranging figures can be fun though, because then you can sit there and repose them and everything. I did see the Arctic. It It's cool. I actually like that he dropped the price on them, because where he has them now, I think it's a little bit more affordable for a lot of people, especially for something not painted. But with my experience with our 3D printed figures, it could definitely be hit and miss. So spending $100 on something that I probably got to put quite a bit of work into it, because that's probably what's going to happen. Just, I don't know, it doesn't really fly with me that well. Lost my train of thought. We were doing something. Making sure this jaw stayed in. For starters, which seemed to work pretty good in that first try, so I'll take that. For that brush, we had the glue. It's gonna do. Oh, right. I need something to wipe off the glue that hit the table. Hey, you know, I got this little towel here. We'll make it work. Yeah. Got a little shop, my little shop rag that hangs out down here. That could be really cool. Yeah, the movie monster one would probably be a better idea. Especially like the older Gammas, because there isn't that many options. I don't know, I plan to do some more stuff at some point. Like, I'm currently... I bought... for my printer, I got some vinyl decals. And what I want to do is turn this into a barrier for Godzilla. So, I actually have one hanging out here. This will go on the Etsy, but you'd have the Godzilla inside the barrier. And then the sections here, because there's certain parts that you can't really... I'm muffling up my words today. You can't see through it very well. So I want to put a decal over this section here that makes it look like when you see the movie, it has like that barrier, like white fog there. And then you see Godzilla, same barrier, and just do it on 4 corners. And I think it would look really cool. That being said, I have to buy the ink, and my printer ran out of ink, so I got to get a hold of it. Oh no, I get why it's $100, because it's a lot of, like, to print all that, it's a pain in the butt, because I 3D print stuff. Like, I've been sitting here, like, heck, just printing these, because I plan on redoing the city diorama that I use for videos, because I got some building files off for doing work on a commission. So I'm using these buildings to replace my my foam ones I made. And, like, doing this, I spent, like, so far 5 days on and off redoing all this crap. And then, even just, like, sculpting that, like, how many hours does the guy have sculpting to it? Like, I get why it's $100. Like, I don't really have a problem with it. It's just, more or less, like, usually they end up being more work than what I initially bargained for. And I almost rather just wait and see if somebody makes an authentic one. Like, for instance, I got this guy here for commission that it's really good looking. I forget the guy that made it, but Lady Draco sent it. She's in the chat. If she might comment where she got it from. But the way that the jaws connect, it doesn't fit right. So I have to adjust it to make it fit appropriately. And again, kind of more work that I really want to do for something that maybe should have been test fitted to begin with. And also with these little joints, I got to do drilling in the neck to get those to fit too. Kujiro Designs, that's who made it. Looks really good. But again, it's kind of like, it's more work than you bargain for a lot of the times, at least for me. Like, I've done a few of those Mudos, and every time it's been a freaking chore. Hey, Ultra. I was gonna say, is it Ultrazilla? Ultrazilla? It's a different account. Anyways, I'm just here talking too much. I gotta get this kind of working on, because I gotta go to bed here in a little bit. Because I work early. Hi, kitty. So I'm just taking some super glue, adding on here, and I'm gonna use this brush to kind of thicken up the joint here. And then what I'll do is I'll take my accelerant, give it a nice spritz. it'll cure really quick. Like, it should pretty much be about good. Yeah, so you can hear the kitty in the background. And then hopefully... And even right there, like, that gives me plenty more friction than I had. And to be honest, that might be good. Like, I might have to do it one more time just to make sure it fits good. But for the purposes of painting, that should be fine. But yeah, I keep a bunch of these really cheap brushes around for this particular application when I need to apply glue on something, or I want to try to save a paint job from scuffing up from friction. These things work wonders, and they're also plastic, so you don't have to worry about it catching off. Like, I've tried using some rubber brushes and they'll start smoking, and it's not good. Oh yeah, the Arctic one. The Arctic one's pretty cool. Some of them, I think I know what you're talking about. I do think some of them are. But you can find a lot of these on Amazon. I think I got these particular ones off eBay. Ooh, might be too thick now. Don't think big joints, so I really don't want to fudge this one up. Yeah, I was gonna say, that was so loose. Now it's super tight. Well, thankfully, keep a bunch of files hanging around too. There we go. Kitty, you're too needy. Yeah, I would love for Monster Arts to make one of these. Like, whichever company makes a articulated Zilla first is gonna get at least 3 of them ordered off of me. Plus other people, because I will probably have a bunch of commissions to do repaints and whatnot, and I want a couple too. There we go. That's a lot better. Woo, the tail stays together now. Because currently, the way this guy is kind of designed, he's almost more akin to like a Revolt Tech than a Figure Arts. Just because of the way the joints are set up. It's just really hard with these tiny figures to do something that looks a little bit more proper. And also time, because much money on getting a figure articulated. Like, I could probably get this thing to be really close to a Monster Arts, but the cost is going to be like through the roof. Yeah, because it'd be like, I need Zilla. Yeah, Zilla Jr. There we go. Now everything's, it's all coming together. Anyways, here he is, fully put together. So now we get all the range of motion. His head can look around, up and down, legs, move around, bends at the knees, bends at the tail. Okay, real quick, I gotta look up... Kitty, come here. Everyone wants to see you. You're you. There, you got attention. Go do your own thing, cat. Oh, now there's cat hair flying everywhere. It was a bad idea. Who recommended the cat? It's a bad idea. Kaiju kitty. I like my lock screen. It's very summer themed. Oh, definitely my cat. He is very vocal. Now, I remember how I painted the last one, but I always like to... Okay, so I still want the kind of sandy color for my base and then kind of work up from there. His name's Servo. He's named after, or you may also know as Gridman from Ultraman. I probably could do this as a wash, but I'd rather start with this as my base coat. So I already primered this thing. Oh, the cat just brought everything on the table. But because it's going to be the lightest color, I'd rather do this as my base. And then build up from there. Now, I probably should do this in sections. But I think I'm just going to kind of do this nice and dirty for my first pass. Because for the most part, tail's still popping off. Everything should be still fairly visible. Is it bugging? I was going to say there's the AC going on in the background, and I'm wondering if that is maybe picking it up. Because everything seems good on my end. Like, I personally, I don't notice any issues. But I also tend to stop talking a lot, so that could be it too. Oh, thanks, Cool Robert. I do kind of regret naming him that, though, because it's going to be a pain in the butt for Casey to say that name. I don't think I have my AC turned off. Because currently, I live in Michigan, and it's super hot right now. So my AC likes to kick on all the time. And I'd love to just turn it off while I'm doing the stream, but I got a baby upstairs. So I don't want to get too out of whack. Also starting to realize I maybe should have went with a bright, lighter paint for my first coat, but we'll figure it out as we go. Also don't really need to do the inside of the mouth this color. Because pretty much after this initial coat, it's just going to be a lot of dry brushing layers anyways. Outside of the mouth. So having a nice strong paint as the base coat isn't going to be a bad thing anyways. But something to just consider because this paint is a little bit on the thicker side. But mainly just trying to get into the nooks and crannies. Yeah, it must be nice. Michigan's usually rarely ever nice weather. It's either super hot, super wet, or super cold. Usually don't get a lot of in-betweens. Also really don't probably need to be covering these spines either now that I'm thinking about it. But the spines are just going to be predominantly blue. Like spines I may actually go back over with the black. So you're the baby upstairs? I would say not in the near future with the Transformer reviews, because I just haven't really been buying that many. I'll be honest, there's not a lot of the Transformer toys just kind of tickle my fancy at this moment. It's pretty much like the movie studio series stuff I like, but that's about it. And even then, I'm still trying to be good and stick with the animated stuff. And I'm still even behind on that. Like, I still got a few of those I still gotta catch up on and buy. But I think my goal for today is I want to at least get all the base colors on. And maybe a dry brushing before we get to calling the stream good. It's probably around 9 o'clock. I'll probably... Well, actually, probably about 8:45 I'll probably should call the stream good. So I still gotta get a review done. I got it filmed, but I gotta toss it on here to add the stuff to it. Because I know the next few reviews are going to be Gundam related. I got a few of those on the docket. Just because I had a few hanging around that I've been meaning to do videos on. And I figure, well, I might as well just do them all in a shot. Because then I can put away their accessories when I'm done. So I got the Gundam Aerial. There's a Tall Geese. Shining Gundam. I just got in. Actually, I got to take some photos for the Discord because they haven't seen them yet. I literally just got them in with my Dark Horse Godzilla, which I got to wait for Arnez to get over to do that video. This arm does not want to stay in. I don't really want to touch it because I don't want to fudge up the paint too much. There we go. All right, real quick, I'm going to mute the mic so I can hair dry it. I kind of want to bring them back. I wouldn't say that they like died or anything, but how much time I got to put into those and how many views they get. I don't know. It's just it's not as worthwhile as I would like it to be. That being said, I probably should because I'm trying to get back to doing at least more skits and stuff eventually. But usually by the time, anytime I actually get her, at least lately, especially with Casey, like if there's news that dropped of action figures and stuff, like by the time I can sit down and have a proper amount of time to film anything, like there's plenty of other people have already posted videos on them. So it's really hard for me to be ahead of the game on those ones. But I feel bad because the Zilla puppet at that point is not getting used. So kind of gotta figure that one out. Because the option is maybe just doing news videos for just Godzilla stuff whenever anything exciting drops. Because I'll be honest, it's usually the kaiju stuff's the only things that really anybody checks out anyways. So I could just stick with those specifically. Yeah, that was the other thought, is just doing kind of like a periodic thing. But then I gotta, at that point, then it's like, then I gotta remember everything that came out for the month. For stuff that went up for pre-orders. It's granted, I could change the format a little bit. Because since we do get paid by Entertainment Earth, they could just go over things that popped up on their website and just use them for the videos. And make it a lot easier than trying to find all the thumbnails. Just screen capture the thing and just go over everything. And then for the Dragon Sword, I didn't get the gold one. I don't really plan on getting the gold one, if I'm going to be honest. I kind of want to get the regular one, but I might wait and see if somebody puts it on sale. Because ever since they canceled the White Tiger Sword and stuff, I don't know if I really want to invest into them anymore. But I still kind of want it. So if it goes on sale somewhere, like Big Bad likes to do those sales periodically on stuff, I could see that one maybe still being there for me to be able to grab. Say if you're going to send one, send the regular. Send the regular. So think of anything, I want the Megazord more than anything. Really, it sucks is like it doesn't scale with like the monsters, but it does work with the Haya. Also starting to realize I maybe want a little bit of water in this paint. Because it's definitely thickening up a little bit now. And I really want to make sure I get this stuff into the crevices. I don't think it's doing as well as I'd like to right now. So, a little dab of water it is. Some here so I can kind of control how much water I'm adding. Alright, I'll just slap this on the tail. Yeah, that's working a lot better. I should have did that from the get-go. The only thing I worry about adding water is sometimes the stuff likes to go on kind of thick. So if you get too much in the joint or in the details, then you'll lose the details. Or it won't look as clean. Yep, kind of pineapple-y. Like I mentioned, it's because if you see in the skin tones, the undersection of the skin, where like in the crevices, is like this almost yellowish color. It's like a skinny yellow color. And then he has like the browns and the bluish gray over top. So starting with this as my base, and then we're going to build up on that. Yeah, plus the gold one doesn't have as much accessories either, which is kind of the lame thing. I could see Godzilla videos red beam. It'd be like the next step up that they could do, really, because we already got burning. So next they could just give us the spiral beam. Like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but I don't really need a lot of coverage on the skin. I just got to make sure that this yellow is getting in the skin into the details. Because like I mentioned, we're going to be dry brushing over top of this. So it not having proper coverage on the skin doesn't really matter as long as it's in the recesses. It's even think inside these joints, because more than likely what's going to end up happening is the dry brush is going to be that predominant color over this anyways. So I'm not too worried about it being torn apart and painted properly, because I could do that later. That looks pretty good. Got a foot here that still needs to get done. This one foot really likes to give me a fit. But I will say, if you do end up sending that Super 7, make sure you send me something to commission to work on. So I don't feel as bad about it. Alrighty. He looks yellow as all get up. But that is exactly what we want. Still got stuff shown here. Alright, works for me. Okay. Next. I said black on the spines, right? So we need a smaller brush. This will probably work. Fully articulated sunset on 3rd Street Godzilla. I do not know what that means. Oh, did you get you should give me your gamer tag when you get a chance, if you got it on Xbox. So then we could play. Because we were doing the Savage Gauntlet yesterday, and I think Arnez was doing it today. I don't know, I want to say I don't know if I like it or not, to be honest, because I haven't seen it. I will say the trailer didn't really get me that excited for it. Oh, gotcha. Oh, if you're gonna do a Godzilla, do the one from what's that movie? That One Crazy Summer? Where the guy dresses up in the Godzilla costume and gets the cigar thrown inside of his mouth and he destroys a real estate agent's party. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I feel bad because I know he started a stream, but I was like, I really gotta try and get some work done tonight. Like I said, I'd like to at least get this guy dry brushed a little bit, so he at least kind of looks proper. I can work on him a bit more tomorrow. My giant black gunky acrylic. Boop. I've had this thing for way too long, but it works really well. Oh yeah, I know it's a new movie, it's just like I haven't seen anything, so it's hard to be excited for something I haven't really got to check out anything on. Because right now all we really know is King Louie's in the movie. And it's Godzilla and Kong fighting another Kong. Which is definitely different. So it's got that going for it. Yeah, pretty much like a random Kong. Now it's a Godzilla movie, so I'm excited to still see it. But I'm not as hyped for it as, say, like Godzilla -1, I'm way more excited to see. Like I mentioned, this doesn't have to be clean because we're going to be dry brushing over everything anyways. So if I get a little bit too much black paint in sections, it's not a deal breaker. Because you see a lot of the Godzilla shots, the yellow isn't everywhere, but it's a predominant feature on the Godzilla. But right now I was trying to get the black in the recesses so when I dry brush the blue over top, it'll show the details a lot nicer. Yeah, I think it's just like there's more for me to be excited about because like the guy that did the Godzilla ride, it's an interesting looking Godzilla. It's a different take on the original, which I know they've rebooted Godzilla so many freaking times, but it sounds it sounds interesting at least. Plus, with some of like the toy spoilers and stuff like that, it's got me more intrigued about it. I won't say anything in case I don't want to spoil stuff for people that are maybe we're trying to avoid things. Well, nice thing too is I don't really have to worry about these ones as much. These I can just keep blue. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Sometimes the game also might bug out because it has a hard time syncing your Capcom data to the game, because I know a couple people have had that issue. It usually just takes restarting the game, but it's a little frustrating. I will say I've been having a pretty good blast playing that game though, so. Because it's kind of like Overwatch, but with dinosaurs. And you don't have, well, I guess you're always playing against people, but you're not really playing against people, which is kind of like if you don't want to play against people, which is nice. So it still gives you like that competitiveness for the game. But it's not as like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as stressful. Which is nice. Okay, like I mentioned, this part isn't really as important to get the black on. Like I said, we're going to be kind of dry brushing all this stuff anyways. But get a little bit of coverage here and there. There we go. Same thing here, just dirt. Okay. Next is the base part for color for Godzilla, which I think is that brownish color. Actually, it's more kind of grayish. It's very grayish brown. Well, I guess we'll do this. Let's see how that works. I think it's sort of how I did them last time. It's like, where's the brush I was just using? It's always like it's not a bad thing, like the other Godzillas. Like I said, the MonsterVerse one's cool. Actually, I still actually dig his design. Alright, in this part, where, like I mentioned, we're just kind of dry brushing. I'll just slowly build it up. Just to kind of show you guys. Essentially the gist of it, it just kind of had more and more layers of the coloring until it starts really popping. I'm not going to do too much on the neck right now because it's not super dark on the figure. But I do want to add a little bit, and then I'll look at the photos and keep kind of going more and more as I go. But more or less, this is kind of it. Like I might add a little bit of browns here and there. Browns to it. Like right now, he's still very yellow. So after I do this, I might do a little bit of a wash. Like a brown wash over top of it. Just to mute out some of this yellow. Do, 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 do. Yeah, definitely gonna need a little bit of a brown wash. That's for certain. But if I get some time tomorrow, I'll probably come back to working on this guy a little bit more. Just get him painted up properly. Kind of look at the images a little bit more. Because the problem is with this guy, Godzilla figure in particular, and trying to detail him similarly to what you see on a lot of the larger statues. It's not the easiest thing because it's just not as detailed of a figure. So it's got a lot bigger gapping than what you would see on this stuff. So some of the techniques just don't come across nearly as good. This is going to be a lot of trial. Also doesn't help that it's been a hot minute since I've done one of these. Like I said, I'll probably do this and then go over them with a nice brown wash. Just really heighten the detailing, but starting to get the gist. So what I'll probably do is go over them once with this, do the wash, and then go back over it again to brighten the blues, this grayish blue color. And then by after doing all that, it should kind of get me the right coloring at that point. Tips. I was gonna say I got the thingy back here. I might still have one that's in the package. Oh, but this is what one of the papers that they came in looked like. For the most part, you want to have a good set of nippers when taking them out, because if there's any of that excess little plastic on them, it'll definitely hinder the articulation. So I don't recommend using like a pair of scissors, but something more akin to this. Like something you use on model kits or Gundams. You definitely want something like that. How I did him is I used epoxy putty, and then I used my Dremel to drill the holes out. I got a saw bit out here because I'm working on something else. But I just drilled out the holes and just matched up the size to the peg. That, or you can just put the peg in there and then pull it back out as you're sculpting it. The issue with that is it might still not be the right size. And then if you leave it in there to get the perfect size, it might not want to come back out. And I definitely have broken a few joints trying to do it that way. So for the most part, I just recommend doing the drilling thing. But anyways, that's all I really got for the stream. So help us defeat this kaiju by hitting the like button. Subscribe, become a Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys, I'll keep up to date with channel and donate. Greatly would appreciate it. Like I mentioned, I'll try to hop back on tomorrow a bit to work on this a little bit more, because I would like to try to get this guy painted up here in the next couple days. But anyways, I'm going to go to bed. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, guys, like to get some figures for yourself, link in the description for Entertainment Earth. Help support our channel. Buy yourself some toys. Like the new Monster Arts stuff that's coming out, the Hayas, Super 7, Dragonzord that we talked about. All that good stuff. Latest.